all the population centers in Waterloo Region are actually built on a floodplain. And as far back as the 1930s, we recognized that that was a problem. So what we did is we decided to come together and collaborate across our communities and create something called the Grand River Conservation Authority. So the region has actually been a champion of climate resilience since even before it's been incorporated. The Grand River Conservation Authority limits development in areas that can cause damage or flooding downstream. Because collectively, if we're able to identify safe areas, both historically and now, to develop, that's going to be a beacon for investment. It's important to think about equity and inclusivity, inclusive resilience, as a means of thinking about resources, which ultimately could be more economic. It could be more of a business case. Why don't we think about where there is a risk of natural disasters and things happening, but also where communities face more vulnerability. Every dollar you spend in protecting that community will have a much higher return than a community that already has those resources, for instance, and more or less can take care of themselves. Let's not worry too much about that. Let's make sure that the finite resources we use in governments and businesses or so on are going to areas that have the best return on investment. And that return on investment isn't just in terms of protecting our resources, but also ensuring that those who need those resources the most receive them. Of course, young people, they are far more concerned about sustainability than some of the older generations. And so there's a pulse of people here who are strongly prioritizing it. And they're not just looking for now just economic opportunity. They are looking for sustainability. They're looking for places that they feel safe. And I think because we have that willingness, that we are that far away from Toronto, that we have to do it on our own, that we have to have some type of solidarity here. I'd say the one big point here is that our drinking water comes from an aquifer. We're not taking water from the lakes. We know here what it means to protect our natural resources, because if we don't do a good enough job here, we're not going to be able to even drink water from our own taps. I think that ethos is very much built into the type of solidarity and sustainability we see here. We built light rail here before most municipalities across the province even thought it was a good idea. We built it recognizing that in 10 to 15 years, we are going to have such high demand on our public transit that we needed to be disruptive, we needed to be innovative. Did people oppose it? Did people think it was too expensive? Absolutely, but we pushed through. And I think that vision, overcoming short-term concerns around costs, political opposition, and just persevering to recognize that we can do something transformative now that is going to put this community on the map. I think that speaks to our credentials for people who are considering moving their organizations and investments here. If we're willing to take a risk like that, they should feel comfortable taking the same risk and come here.